Good evening, America. This is Fallout Radio, your voice from the atomic age. Tonight's headline: a recruitment drive goes sideways when the application form asks for your favorite Nuka-Cola flavor, and not a single applicant can spell the word revolution. The story began at sunrise in the parking lot of a burned-down diner. A folding table, 3 mismatched chairs, and a hand-painted sign that read in bold green letters, "Bring your own arms." The green hand had decided it was time to grow. An army does not build itself, the leaders said, so they printed forms, sharpened a pencil, and waited. The first applicant arrived on foot. He was carrying a garden hoe and a fierce look. He sat down, squared his shoulders, and reached for the application. And then he saw the first question. It did not ask his name. It did not ask his skills in combat, nor his years of loyal service to the cause. It asked him to write his favorite Nuka-Cola flavor. He stared at the form for a long time. Then he looked up. He said quietly, "Quantum." The recruiter nodded. "Good man. Next question." The next question asked him to spell the word revolution. Now, friends, let me be clear. This was not a spelling contest. This was a test of character, or so the organizers insisted. But the applicants, they saw only letters arranged in an order that would not cooperate. The man with the hoe wrote REVOLUTION. He paused, crossed it out, wrote REVOLUTION. Crossed that out too. He sat back in his chair. "I've been a loyal foot soldier my whole life," he said. "I don't need to spell the revolution. I just need to show up for it." The recruiter considered this. It was, honestly, a very reasonable point. But the form was the form, and the form, like all forms, was very serious about itself. The second applicant was a man with a scar on his jaw and a pistol that had seen better days. He wrote his favorite flavor in block letters, "Classic." Underneath it, he wrote the word revolution as REVOLUTION. The recruiter tapped the paper. "There's an extra letter in there, soldier." The man looked down. "That's not an extra letter. That's my accent." Friends, the applications piled up. By noon, the table was covered in forms, and every single one of them had found a new and inventive way to spell the same word. Some wrote it with a K, some wrote it with 2 L's. One man, a chemist who had come all the way from the settlement by the river, simply wrote, "The thing we are doing," in the blank space, and considered the matter settled. The recruiter, to his credit, kept his composure. He kept his pencil sharp, and he kept the line moving. Then the dog arrived. The dog general, fresh from his latest promotion, wearing a collar that now carried a small brass star, trotted up to the table, sat down with great dignity, and waited. The recruiter handed him a form. The dog looked at it. Then he looked at the recruiter. Then he looked at the pencil. And then he ate the form. The crowd went silent. Somewhere, a radroach applauded. "Regrettably," the recruiter said, "the general's application has been processed." And in that moment, the recruitment drive took a turn. The mannequin appeared. It had been there all along, of course, standing near the diner's broken door. But now it stepped forward, and the crowd parted, and it laid a single, perfectly completed form upon the table. The handwriting was immaculate. The favorite flavor was left blank, with a small note in the margin. I do not drink. The word revolution was spelled correctly, with quiet authority. Nobody asked where the mannequin had learned to write. Some questions are better left unasked. The recruiter looked at the form. He looked at the mannequin. He looked at the crowd, which had begun to murmur. He stood up. He cleared his throat, and he made an announcement. Effective immediately, he said, the application form has been simplified. The crowd leaned in. There are now only 2 questions, he said. Number 1, are you willing to show up? The crowd cheered. And number 2, are you willing to bring your own arms? The crowd cheered louder. Someone threw a hat into the air. The dog barked twice, which everyone agreed was a yes. And the recruitment drive, which had been going sideways, was suddenly going very, very well. Because it turns out, friends, that a revolution does not need perfect spelling. It does not need a well-run office, nor a form that asks the right questions.
It needs people who show up.
People who bring what they have. People who can look at a word they cannot spell and decide, all the same, to be part of the thing it stands for. And so the green hand grew that day. Not by the dozen, not in a grand and organized fashion, but by one gardener with a hoe, and one scarred man with a pistol, and one dog with a very brief career in paperwork. And a mannequin who still does not drink, and who will be at every meeting from now on. This has been the news. Now, a word from our sponsor. Is your home prepared for the future? Here at Super-Duper Mart, we believe that a prepared home is a happy home. That is why, for this week only, we are offering our Atomic Home Shelter Kit at a price so low, it is almost irresponsible. That is right, friends. One low payment, and your family can ride out the end of the world in comfort, style, and a slightly better chair than the neighbors have. But hurry. Supplies are limited, and by limited, we mean we have no idea when more will arrive. Super-Duper Mart, where the deals are as big as the crater. And now, the Wasteland Weather Forecast. Across the eastern wastes, heavy static with a chance of green glow after midnight. Visibility is poor, and the wind smells faintly of burnt toast. In the lowlands, patchy mannequin sightings clearing by morning. And for the parking lot region, a high-pressure system of optimism, which is unusual for this time of year. Remember, friends, keep those windows shut. This has been Fallout Radio. I'm Daniel, and it has been my honor to bring you the news from the end of the world. Good night, and God bless America. We think. And if you have been listening and you are still here, then somewhere out there, a revolution is being spelled one letter at a time.